Hello, VR enthusiasts, and welcome back to Work in the Verse. Thor here, and now it's time to take a trip down the old memory lane with a trip back to the 80s and 90s. It's like Back to the Future without having to spring for a DeLorean. With your Quest headset, whether it be the 2 or 3, you have solid options now for creating your own virtual arcade with classic hits. In this episode, we're going to look at the age of joy in the arcade time capsule. Each project shows off the nostalgia of this time while giving you the option that works best for your situation. So we can get this out of the way. Each app relies on an emulator for creating actual gameplay. You'll have to find what's called ROMs to make this happen. As you'll find out quickly, it's up to you to locate the files. For both apps, you'll want to check the documentation for the type of ROM needed to make it work. If that sounds like a lot of work and all you want to do is visit the arcades without actually playing the games, you can. I know, it sounds weird, but hang with me for just a moment. You'll find with each app that you can peruse the arcade and see the trailers for the games just like you were there at the arcade. Both apps feature cabinets with artwork to recreate that classic feeling. What I'm going to show you on screen looks really good, but it fails in comparison to experiencing it in the headset. The best way to explain it is like a hypercar. You can appreciate how amazing it looks on the outside, but until you get in and take a ride, you can't even begin to understand the mind-blowing reality that awaits. So, without further ado, let's start with Age of Joy. The dev's approach is to do everything on your headset. No need for a gaming PC, which is quite the feat. Be prepared though, as it will take you some effort if you haven't side-loaded apps before. I'm not going to go detail by detail as there are plenty of videos and instruction out there, which I'll list below, but rather instead a high-level outline so you have a general sense of what's involved. First, you'll need a desktop or laptop PC connected to your headset to facilitate the exchange of applications and data to your Quest. Then you'll need an application like SideQuest to make the bridge possible. Trust me on this, it's not difficult. Perhaps a bit overwhelming at first, but you can do this. Once you have the connection, you'll use SideQuest to install or sideload the Age of Joy APK. Depending on your PC, this may take longer than you might expect, so be patient. Now, before you go any further with any tutorial, take a moment to launch Age of Joy on your headset. Why? Because this will create the necessary folders to make the magic happen. If you miss this step, you won't be going any further. Okay, with that out of the way, now you need to install the arcade cabinets. Since you have SideQuest, just use that app to transfer those files to the correct folder. And now the last step, that is, if you want to play the games, is to transfer the ROM files over with SideQuest to the correct folder. Alright, with that quick overview out of the way, you're ready to jump in. You can use your Quest controllers to move around the arcade and also play any of the games you installed. You'll notice that the cabinets will not always appear immediately. This is because there's only so much memory and compute power, so the devs do balancing to get the best experience possible. This will change in future releases as the devs continue to optimize the Age of Joy. Reminiscent of nostalgia, to play a game you'll take a quarter from your left wrist to drop it in to wake up the machine. You'll find out quick enough the Quest controllers aren't video game controllers, so if you have another controller, be sure to connect it to your Quest for a much better experience. Did you notice the NPCs throughout the arcade? When you're absorbed in a game and catch one out of the corner of your eye, it may just feel like other people are in the arcade with you. It's a massive place. Hang on to your quarters because the devs have been super busy with Age of Joy and they're close to releasing the next build. You can get the latest release candidate from the link below, but this is not a final release, so be prepared for some glitches and things like that. Looking at the next app is the Arcade Time Capsule. This requires using your desktop or laptop to handle the rendering of the arcade and making the games playable. In this approach, you guessed it, we're using PC VR. For the best experience, you'll need at least an NVIDIA 1070 card. Obviously, the newer the card you have, the better results you'll have. A quick way to test your setup is to install the Oculus app to your PC and then connect via Airlink. If it looks as janky as it does here in this video clip, you'll want to stick with the Age of Joy. One more thing, if you're planning on playing the games in Arcade Time Capsule, you'll need to connect a game controller to your PC. The setup, even though it's PC VR, is a bit less involved. You'll need to download the app and install it to your PC and then copy the ROM files you're planning on using if you're going to game. That's it for installation. No need to install cabinets as they're already included. Now you just need to connect to your PC with your Quest headset to launch. There are several methods in doing this, and I go over several of them in the video linked above. For a quick way in, I'm just going to go ahead and use AirLink, show the screen where I have the application installed, and then simply double-click the executable. Oh, here's a quick tip. If you can't hear the sound, change your speakers to headphones Oculus Virtual Audio device. The sense of realism, even on a 1070 graphics card, is quite impressive. Nostalgia is captured here from the carpet to the arcade games. Lighting reflecting off the glass of the games down to how the screens looked back in the day. Honestly, words fail me in how incredible this experience is. Here are some additional observations. The games you can play in both apps are quite substantial, clocking in around 200 plus titles. If you're looking at playing games, I would give the nod to Age of Joy, as there is a vibrant community supporting cabinet development. When new cabinets are developed, you simply copy them in the ROM file. If you're looking for realism, the nod goes to the arcade Time Capsule. Doing the heavy lifting on your PC will always win. Age of Joy, though, is a close second with their most recent efforts. If you have a PC with a decent graphics card, arcade Time Capsule is less time-consuming and daunting to get started. If you want to experience arcade games in mixed reality, you can also try Age of Joy MR. I'll link to it below. For the correct perspective, you'll have to download another set of cabinets for it to work, and then you'll also have to copy those ROMs in as well. In a future release, they're planning on combining both into one, so that will mean less time to get things up and running. You might be wondering, though, if either solution supports multiplayer. Unfortunately, no. There's a lot involved here to make this work. Maybe one day we'll get there. All in all, though, you can't go wrong with either approach. Both are free at the time of making this video, so if you can, help support the developers, as it's a labor of love and on their own dime. If you like this look at nostalgia, how about subscribing and hit that like button? Until next time, keep playing the verse.